Hello. Today we're going to work on a project in Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, and the project is called Geometric Lines. If you do not already have Illustrator on your dock, remember you can go to your applications and find Illustrator. You'll have to open the folder and pull the actual icon down into the dock. Okay, so please make sure you have that available. It just makes it simpler for you to use. I'm going to open Illustrator. It has a floating window, floating tools, unlike Photoshop, so don't let that surprise you. You can move those around as you want. I like to have these tools where the words show. If I squeeze this over, it's just the icon, but if I do this, I get the whole word. The whole word's pretty helpful. So go ahead and feel free to do that. Now I'm going to hit Command N for new document. We're going to do the 11 by 8.5, so it's a regular sheet of paper, but it's horizontal. I like that for this project. Remember to title this your last name, hashtag, and whatever number of project this is, depending on the semester that you are in. This, for me, currently in our current semester is my project number 12, so I'm just going to call this brown hashtag 12.ai for Adobe Illustrator, so make sure to do that. And then we say OK. Now this is going to give us a big document here, kind of spread out all over my screen, and I actually want to change that. I kind of like to format this a little bit differently. I'm going to squash this down a little bit, move this over, bring this over a little bit, but I'm also going to put view hide artboards, and what that does is it's going to make the paper one giant piece of paper that you're zoomed in on, and it's going to fill your screen. It's kind of like Command 0, but even more kind of locks it all into place for now, which works good for this particular project. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my rectangle tool, and notice the black arrow is the selection tool, or Command V, or excuse me, just the letter V is the quick key to select that. The direct selection tool is the white arrow, and that is an A to select. We're also going to use the rectangle tool, which is an M to select. And if I hold that down, you see the menu for, we're going to also use the ellipse tool in a little while, and that is L to select. Right now I need to be on rectangle. Notice for down here, your colors, you have a fill and a stroke. So that's our stroke color, and that's our fill color, versus a foreground background like you do in Photoshop. Now to make that default, we're just going to hit the letter D, but it already is default, so you don't see a change. If I want to switch those defaults, switch the fill color and the stroke color, I hit the letter X, so I can toggle back and forth with that. And I do want the, oh excuse me, I didn't toggle back and forth. I need to arrow over, and then I'm going to use X as my fill color. I'm going to then click on the stroke and say no stroke. Okay, right there. You just hit the no stroke. Okay, and I'm going to just minimize that because that just doesn't need to be open. Rectangle tool. I'm going to click and drag a long skinny rectangle. And then I'm going to go to the black arrow tool. I'm going to click into the rectangle. I'm going to hold down Option and then click and drag a rectangle over. Now I've got exactly a duplicate of the first one, and they are right next to each other, so much so that you can't, even when you click off, you can't even see the difference. Okay, so make sure that you have, if you're not seeing these little flashing lights, if yours looks like this and you're not getting those, make sure to hit Command U to turn on Smart Guides, because that's going to be helpful here in a second, because we're going to need to see where the breaks are in these rectangles. Now with the second one selected, hold down Command and hit the letter D. And you can do this repeatedly across your screen. This is really enough or plenty of these. Now again, you should see what I'm seeing with these little lines, these smart guides. If you cannot see smart guides, definitely turn on Command U. So with the black triangle, or black arrow rather, I'm going to click the second bar, hold down Shift, and click the fourth bar, the sixth bar, the eighth bar, and so on. I need every other bar to be clicked. If I would have ended on the end, I need to change that here in a second, because we need to start with a black bar and end with a black bar. But these ones that I've selected are in the center. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to say, hey, I want those to be a white fill, and you must turn off the stroke. So now it's going to look like this. It's going to look like black and white alternating bars. Black and white alternating bars. I can't just delete those bars because I need them. I need them to be white, but I need them to have no stroke. Now, again, I start on a black and I end on a black. If you had an extra white one here on the end, you would just select it and hit delete. Okay, so we've got all of our bars. We're now going to do black arrow, select them all, and hit Command G for group. Command G for group. Then we're going to come over here to your brushes. You can access brushes over here. You can also access brushes up here. So I just kind of like this little window. I'm going to say this new piece of paper down here, a new brush. I want to select that. And oops, I messed up. Hit cancel. I need to have this all selected. Then I come over here, hit new brush. Then I hit art brush. Then I say okay. And in this dialog box, for this particular example, what we're doing, you don't need to change anything except one little button. You're going to change direction to the up arrow. Stroke from the bottom to the top. And then you say okay. Okay. Now I'm going to click off of the selection. And I'm going to test this out. It's a nice object that I can do up and down. It doesn't become distorted. Okay. Go to your, back over here to your color, and you're going to select white for your fill and no stroke. Come up here to the tool and you're going to select ellipse or L for quick key. Hold down shift and make a circle. Now I've got a white circle with no outline, and I am going to now apply a brush to that. If you ever make shapes like this and you can't find the shape that you made because it's white without an outline, the best way to see everything that you've created is Command Y. Command Y will turn your entire artboard into an outline for a moment so that you can see what you've got and where it's at. Okay? Now we're going to come back and hit Command Y again. That brings everything back to normal. Now, with this selected, I'm going to come up here to brushes and hit my new brush that I just created. And there you have it. And that is how I've made that circle. Okay? Back to the black arrow. I'm going to move the circle over. I'm going to also select the rectangle and move it over. The next task is to make a half circle, a quarter circle, a 3/4 circle, and to have all of that ready to go. So that we can build a design with that. So I'm going to select here, Command C, Command V, copy and paste. I'm going to do it again, copy and paste, and I'm going to do it again, copy and paste. Okay, on this first one I'm going to leave it whole. On this one I'm going to click it with my white arrow, the 12 o'clock cursor right there. I get all these little handlebars that you see, and you hit delete. That's going to make your half circle. Come over here. You're going to also hit those handlebars at the top. You're going to hit delete. Then you're going to hit this little guy and get handlebars again and hit delete again. You're going to get a quarter. Now we're going to come down here. We're going to click here and here. And then we're going to click here in the center. We are going to come over here and select the scissor tool. And we're going to select the white arrow. And we're going to drag over that and hit cut and hit delete. So again, that was, let's do that again. White arrow, select top, select the side, and then I kind of click right here in the center. Go make sure I'm on my I'm on scissors tool, but then I go back to white arrow, click and drag that quadrant. It'll select those, and I'm going to hit cut. Okay? So I know that one sounds a little bit weird, but that's how you're going to do that. Now you have everything you need to build this design. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So I'm going to take this and this. Now that should have been grouped. Command G, we'll have to check on that. And this, and this, and I have all my pieces. Now as I build my design, whatever shape that you want, you are going to, oh, it's because I'm on the white arrow, forgive me. Whatever shape you want, you are going to copy it and paste it. So I'm going to start out with this guy, and I'm going to connect it, let's say copy and paste it. And I'm going to turn this one onto that one. I'm holding down Shift, which gives me an exact 45, an exact 90, and an exact 180. Okay? And then we're going to pull that over to here. Now I'm going to bring that down. Whoops, way too far. I'm using my arrow key to really line up the ends there. And it kind of helps to zoom in, because really to make the design successful, this has to be exactly matched up. Okay, whoop. And I click off to the side. Still looks off a little bit. Oops, I gotta still select it. I'm gonna bring it down so there's no daylight in there. There's no white line showing through. Okay, now that is a little bit crooked. I'm going to go back to my rectangle. I'm going to pull it down a little bit. I'm going to get my eraser tool, and I'm going to bracket to make that bigger. I am going to erase that real straight. I held down Shift and I erased it. Now I don't know if that's what's crooked. Must be this guy. He's a little bit crooked. So I'm going to tilt him. I must have not gotten my Shift exactly. And I'm going to bring him down so he overlaps a little bit so we don't see this daylight. And that actually might be something I'm just seeing on my screen, because they are perfectly overlapped. So let's go ahead and not worry about that for now. And of course, when I zoom out, you can't see that, but I got to find out maybe if that's going to show up like that in the other designs. Okay, now from this point, I just continue to build. Command C, Command V. Let's say I wanted to use this guy for here. And that could be pretty cool. And we can just keep on building. Now, remember, I'll have to see if I can figure out why I'm getting that little bit of white right there. I'm not liking that. But this can be a really awesome looking design that you create. Now, one thing you're going to have to understand on how to use is that if you have, let's do another one of these guys. If you have a piece that you want to go in front of or behind something, let's go over that real quickly. So I'm going to use I'm going to use this as an example. Let's say I had this piece here. And I don't know that this is what I would do anyway. But let's pretend this is going to be our overlapping, okay? So I've already got this one, and this one goes in front of it, okay? This one goes in front of it. And actually, let's group those together. So I'm going to take both of those, and I'm going to Command G, and I'm going to group them. But now I still have this, well, one's in front and one's behind. If I want to change the order of what's in front and what's behind, I'm going to hit Command, Shift, and the brackets. Okay? Left bracket, right bracket. Left bracket, right bracket. So right bracket brings the object forward. Left bracket takes the object backward. And if I had multiple shapes in here, there will be multiple steps of forward and backward. So understand, so let's say if I select that one, Command Shift, bracket, 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 bracket. In this example, I get the same result as I did if I had this one selected, but you can see the difference. Okay? So make sure that you are looking at what is in front and what is behind. What is in front and what is behind. Another way to do that is if the object is black arrow selected, go to Control and click, go down to Arrange. You can bring things to the front, bring things forward, send things backwards, send things to the back. You can also, while this is selected, come up here and say object to range, and you go bring to front, bring forward, backward, back. Okay, so there's 3 ways to do it. I personally like the quick key because not only with that quick key, I can just very quickly toggle back and forth and see what I like better. And that will be very useful as you go to build these designs. I have completed a project such as this, and I will show that to you. It is also something that we can color as we get down to the end and make decisions on what it is that you want to do. It can also be in black and white. It is really striking as a black and white object. And here we go. This is an example with a black background using a color design. And this is an example of a white background with that same colored design. You can see I don't have certain things lined up correctly, and that really kind of messes with the effectiveness of the design. So you got to have them lined up really good. I really like the one on black, but that's just preference. And also I started one where I just take and I deal with the circles individually. Okay, so there's a lot of really fun applications for this example, and I hope that you will enjoy this tutorial. Good luck with your design, and it doesn't hurt to draw it out on paper first before you get started. And again, I hope that gives you a good beginning taste of Illustrator. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.